Hey folks, I'm Banabam here for AE Tuts, and today I have got a very sweet tutorial for you. Now, this tutorial is way overdue on my part. In this tutorial, I'm gonna show you how to create your own coin stack in 3D space. As I said, this tutorial is way overdue on my part, and that's because I've been planning a long time to do this one. Let's watch the preview, and after that I'll give you a quick brief on the background story of this tutorial. So, here goes. Approximately 6 months ago, I had a project which involved coins fall from the sky and create a stack. This was a very small part of this project. At first we thought about using a 3D software. Since the deadline was very tight, and since the project didn't require any specific coins, we ended up using stock footage of real coins, which worked great for us. But after that, I got to thinking of how can I simulate that inside After Effects without the use of a 3D program. And remember, at the time, Newton was not launched yet. Now, let's break it down for a second here. We got coins dropping from the sky, bouncing on the ground, and coming to a hold, creating a pile. Now, they don't react just with the ground, they also react with each other. So I need them to bounce off the ground and off each other. And I need it to be as believable as possible. At first, of course, I thought of using Particular. Let's see how that looks. I'll create a new composition. Doesn't really matter what size at the moment. Let's create a new layer. Add Particular. Okay, this will be the Particular, and we'll create a new layer, and this will be the ground. Okay, let's name these Particular and Floor, and we'll make Floor a 3D layer, rotate it on the x-axis to -90 degrees, and drag it down somewhere around here. Let's actually change the color of the floor so we can see the particles fall down a little bit better. Deep red should be fine. Okay, now Particular. I'm gonna go through this real quick. I'll go to Physics and switch the physics model from air to bounce. And going to bounce, set the floor layer to floor. We'll set the gravity to 1. Now we need the particles to last a lot longer than 3 seconds. Let's say 20, just for the heck of it. For the moment, let's take the velocity down to 20. And velocity random, velocity distribution, and velocity for motion all set to 0. And let's make those 10 so we can see a lot better. And let's set the life to be a bit longer, let's say 100. Okay, so let's see how that looks. The particles are created, falling down, bouncing on the floor, very nice. This is like exactly what I wanted. And they continue on bounce and fall off the face of the earth. Let's drag the bounce amount to 10 and slide, take it down a bit more, let it bounce a bit more even. So they bounce and then they come to a hold. Perfect, right? That's what I want from the coins. Bounce and come to a hold. And after a while, I should get a stack, right? Let's switch to custom view. After a while, I should get a nice stack going on, but I don't, because what happens is the particles stay in the same position. And even if I increase the particles amount back to 100, or even more, this isn't really what I wanted, right? So I got a way to work around that. Let's rename this floor to floor 01, okay? And this will particle 01, and let's duplicate those. I've got 2 particle systems, both emitters are in the same position, and the floors are in the same position. So let's drag this floor a bit higher, okay? And we'll set this particle, the second particle system, we'll set its floor layer to floor number 2. And let's set the opacity to 10 so we can see through it. And now you can see, I've got 2 particle systems, producing bouncing particles, and I've got sort of a piling going on, right? So I can tweak the floor height, and I can tweak the emitter height, and tweak the settings of the particles bounce random, slide, and so on and so forth. And I can continue on creating more and more layers until I get a nice pile. And then, of course, I can switch the particles to sprite and create my 3D coins and use those as sprites. And that's exactly what I did. And after lots and lots of playing around it and testing different angles and different variations, this is the result I've got. Let's take a look. Okay, not extremely bad, right? But it's really not that good. If I was to publish this preview on AETUTS, I would hear lots and lots of complaints from you guys saying the coins are floating around, it's not realistic at all. And you would be right. Even though I've worked long and hard to get to that result, you would be right. That doesn't look good. Approximately 1 month after I finished this preview you just seen, the good folks at Motion Boutique came out with Newton for After Effects, which absolutely blew my mind. And of course, I've played around with it, and the result I came up with was extremely simple. And the simple answer is using Newton as the engine for the coins, and then applying to these coins the 3D compositions, which would react to the 3D environment I created for the preview. Of course, using this option gives us a lot of room here. We can use whatever coins we want, and if you're not familiar with 3D software, this will be the perfect solution for you.
Well, let's get started with building up the Newton part. Let's first erase all of these since we don't need them. And now let's create a new solid. Control Y. Color doesn't matter. And the width will be 50. And 4 will be the height. Okay, so this is approximately the profile of a coin. And we'll rename it to coin 01. And we will place it somewhere around here. And now we need to duplicate this coin 50 more times. Yeah, 50 times. So let's duplicate it and drag it to the top and a bit to the left. Duplicate it again to the top and a bit to the right. It doesn't need to be accurate. Actually, it would be for the best if it would be accurate, because we'll get a more random fall out of the Newton system. Now I'll duplicate these, drag them up, and continue on with this process until you get 50 coins. Okay, so at this point I've got 50 coins. Now we need to set up a floor, so the coins have something to bounce on and to fall onto. We'll create a new solid, 1280 by 10, and we'll change the color so we can recognize it a bit better in the Newton system. Height doesn't really matter because we're not going to actually see it in the final composition. Now let's drag it
Okay,
down.
so now we get started
things
in
in
order.
part.
Okay,
Let's
rename it
go
floor.
to composition,
Newton. And immediately we get the Newton window popping out. If you're not already familiar with the Newton system, then this part here is the simulation preview. This part here is the bodies, which means it's all the elements in our scene. At the moment we can't really see them because they're above the composition bounds. Let's see if we can see them here. Yeah, there they are. Okay. Once we pick up an element or a body or multiple bodies, we can adjust their characters, such as what type they are, their density, their friction, their bounciness. Color only refers to their appearance in the simulation preview, and their mesh precision. Over here we have the solver, the gravity, which controls which way and how much the gravity would influence the bodies, and the velocity and damping in this section. Okay, now by default all bodies are dynamic, which is what we want, except for the floor, which needs to be static, not dead. If you set it to dead, it won't have any effect at all. So we need to set it to static, and that way it still have
properties such as density, friction, and bounciness. Now, mesh precision isn't relevant for us because we're using we're using rectangles. If we were to use more complex shapes, then we would need to increase the mesh precision, but we don't, so let's move on. Anyway, let's start with things as they are right now and see what we need to modify. Okay, so we can't really see what's going on here. Let's mark all of these and give them a brighter color. Let's watch it again. Okay, so this is really coins falling down. Let's first take some friction off the floor, say 35, and let's give it a bit more bounciness. Let's see how that looks. Okay, let's give it a bit more, 0.5. Okay, now as for the coins, let's give them less friction, 0.2. Give some more friction to the floor, let's say 0.6, see how that looks. And take off that bounciness. Okay, we're getting there. Now let's add a bit more friction, 0.3 say. Okay, that's a bit too much, so 0.25. Could be. Let's try 2.23. Let's give some more friction here to the floor, say 0.7. Okay, now let's see coins. Let's give them a bit less bounciness, 0.25. Okay, I'm happy with this. Let's hit apply, and we've got a lot of extra frames here. We don't need so much, so let's set it from 0 to 170, even though I might not need all those keyframes, but you know, I can always erase them. Hit OK, and watch Mesmerized as it's solving the simulation. Okay, beautiful. Go to After Effects. And let's see. Okay, I'm happy. I actually forgot one step before I started the animation, and that was to duplicate the scene, because we need 2 more coin stack compositions like this. So let's duplicate the scene, call coin stack 1 and coin stack 2. Let's go into coin stack 2, hit U, and delete all the keyframes. Now make sure you delete the keyframes when the cursor is in the first keyframe, meaning the coin's initial position. Everything's in the right place. Okay, now let's duplicate one more time, and just one more time for safekeeping. Let's call this one base, in case we want to create another, or we want to start over, or whatever. We have a clean plate here. Okay, so here we'll use not 50 coins, we'll use 35 coins, so we'll get a slightly smaller pile. I would also advise you not to arbitrarily delete these coins, meaning not to just delete the first 15 coins, but rather delete ones from the middle, some from the bottom, and so on and so forth. And also to move them around a bit. Just grab a couple of coins and move them around. That way we'll make sure you'll get a more random look, so all the stacks won't look similar in their falling down and the way they stack together. Of course, we can also play a bit with the Newton properties, but essentially it's the same actions. So we need to repeat the actions we just did for the coin stack 1 in coin stack 2. while having 35 coins, and in CoinStack 3 we need to have just 20. And once again, of course, take them from the middle and move around some coins, play a bit with the properties in Newton, and go ahead and do that, and I'll see you right after that.
Okay, now let's see how can we turn these 2D layers into completely 3D coin layers. In my assets folder under stills, I have got 8 kinds of coins, and for now I'm just going to use only 5 of them. Let's start with coin 01, create a new composition out of it. We'll call it just coin 01. Let's set things in order here. We'll put all of these in pre-comps. This coin here needs a bit of a treatment. I haven't cropped it that well. So let's apply a simple choker and set it to 1. That should take care of most of the white. Let's set it to 1.5 or even 2. We'll call this one base and we'll duplicate it, call this one extrude 001. We'll turn them both into 3D layers. Instead of writing a long and elaborate expression, and since I only want 10 duplicates of this coin, I'm just gonna manually insert their positions. So hit P, -1, duplicate once more, -2, and so on until we get 10 extrudes. Okay, so now I've got 10 of those. Let's close this up, and let's switch the last one to be the front of the coin. And let's have a quick look. You can tell it's not exactly the same size, so we can always scale it down a bit. Since we're not going to have a close-up look on the coins, we can always call it fine and move on. Let's parent all these to the base, and now we don't need to see them anymore. So hit the shy button for those. And now let's switch back to our CoinStack 01. And let's randomly choose coin this one here, and let's replace this one. Click on Alt, and while clicking on it, drag the coin 1 to coin 029. Now collapse this transformation. Let's switch back to active camera and lower the scale, lower the size, 17. Okay, and now it's got all the keyframes and it's completely in 3D space. And if we'll rotate this coin, let's switch back to active camera, rotate on x-axis to -90 and switch back to our coin stack. We also need to collapse the transformation. You can see it's now lying on its side. So this is getting us closer to where we want it to be. For some reason, if I hit U, for some reason there's an extra keyframe here, which I don't really need, so let's get rid of that. Now you can see when the coin drops, it drops straight. Now I would like it to rotate while it's dropping. The time it takes it to fall down is approximately 1 second and 20 frames. So we will need to rotate the coin for 1 second and 20 frames. We want to end the rotation at this point, and we want to start, let's say, let's give it half a turn or so. Let's see how that looks. So that looks very nice actually, but let's give it a bit more. Let's give it 2 turns. Okay, so now we've got a real nice rotating and bouncing and falling down coin, all in 3D space. Let's switch to custom view. So it's all very nice. Okay, so switch back to active camera. Now we need to do the same for the other coins, but we want different kind of coins. So let's duplicate the coin 1 composition, rename it to coin 2, and let's go in there, unshy all the layers. Now let's switch these layers with different coins we've got here. So all these will be the back, and this is the front. We can reverse its position so it would look a bit better.
Let's change the animation so it won't be exactly the same. Cut these keyframes and paste them to the Y rotation. Okay, and let's switch, let's say, this coin with our coin 2. Scale it to 17, collapse its transformation, and make it a 3D layer. Okay, I think these coins can be a bit smaller, let's say 15 and 15 as well. And now what you need to do is create 3 more coins using the same method and replacing those coins in a random fashion with all these placeholders, and we'll continue on from there. Well, as you can see, I have repeated the process for all the coins, and I did the same for CoinStack 2 and CoinStack 3. And after that, I've created a new composition, imported all 3 compositions into this composition, collapsed their transformation, and turned them into a 3D layer. CoinStack 1 is in 0 in Z position, CoinStack 2 is in -50, and CoinStack 3 is in -100. And if I rotate the camera a bit, you can see that it makes a true 3D stack. Of course, if you want it to be a perfect stack, you can duplicate these 2 and place them behind the first one, or rather create 2 more layers and repeat the same process we just did, just to make it more random. Now all you need to do is place this composition in your After Effects 3D scene and collapse its transformation, place a camera, and there you go, you get yourself a 3D coin stack. And all within After Effects. All within After Effects rendered, powered by the power of Newton. Well, folks, I've been yapping to you for the last 20 minutes. My name is Raven Avraham, and I must say 20 minutes for me is quite an achievement. I usually yap a lot longer than that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll see you next time.